Good evening. Is this like the first stream in a while? It feels like a long time since we've been here. Feels like it, I don't know. Is it? Did we do one last week? Last Monday, maybe? Something like that? All right. A very long time? I don't know about that, man. 8 days? All right, yeah, okay. All right. Feels like a bear market happened. Just feels like more fucking crab. Holy shit. But we're welcoming the pump into our life. We're embracing the pump. We're positive about some upside, hopefully, for the markets. But we'll dive into the lower time frames, kind of, you know, see if we can get any clues to the next direction from here. Taking into account the indexes as well, and some of the stuff that's going on in traditional markets, but we'll have a good explore around. All right, let's just get into it. Let's just look at some charts. Just currently got BTC and SPX open as we head into the close. We got 25 minutes until TradFi logs off for the day, and then we can have some more fun on the crypto side of things. But we'll focus on BTC for now in terms of where we are, higher, lower time frame, and let's lay out the thought process of how we're trading through this zone here. And we'll take it clean first, and then we'll bring in the indicators in a second to figure out where we are. I mean, first of all, you know, consideration here on the weekly is still in that market structure that's downtrending. So we still got this nice downtrending, or not nice downtrending pattern on BTC. So making things a little bit more aggressive on the short side of things, and a little bit harder to try and get value from the long side. Now, the majority of markets are obviously in this position at the moment. They're in this situation that we've got right now. And what we are looking for across the range of markets is whether or not we are going to have a more aggressive squeeze. That's essentially what we're looking at here. So we're figuring out whether or not these markets have got any more juice in them in order to squeeze the upside and to play into higher price targets. And one of those areas on BTC's side of things is 61,000 up here. Potentially, depending on how much juice we have, 59,000 here. And then whether or not we've kind of got like just that little bit extra, whether or not we'll squeeze into, you know, kind of 62s and get rid of this. So we're really looking at three areas. And this situation has developed as a result of the buildup of this. Okay, so the buildup of that selling that we've had that has been relatively unchallenged. Now, I say relatively, and you know, we're primarily looking at kind of this region here, and we can expand this out to kind of over here as well, is what we're looking at for the highs that have been untouched. Now, the reason that I say relatively is within this, there have been some squeezes. Okay. So lower time frame, there have been some squeezes. You know, if we take in like this area, for example, then we run it on this wick here. If we take in these areas here, then we run it through this region, right? So we have had some areas that have been run, but when we start to look at this as an overall movement to the downside, we haven't seen that much challenge back through this zone. And so a lot of markets are in this position now. Right, a lot of markets are in this position now where we're looking at squeezing back to the upside. Right? And so seeing whether or not we can challenge some of these areas. Now, my personal belief based on the way the indicators are lined up, and I can kind of expand on this both in a shorter term and a longer term from my side, I think that the market will have enough energy to be able to squeeze these levels. I think that we will get a more expansive move out of these regions to try and challenge these. I don't know how far we get, but I think, certainly that 61K area looks attractive. And then I still suspect that everything heads down into fresh lows. So I think that this is a patch of time where we are challenging the upside. That's great. But I still believe that lower prices are on the cards after this activity has been completed. And when we bring in the indicators through here as well, we can see that the 4-hour RSI is in a really good position for BTC here. So we've got this 4-hour RSI here looking as though it wants to try and challenge the upside. We've got the hourly that's bounced off the 50, albeit with some kind of aggressive back and forth price action today. What a surprise, just around when the burgers get online once again. Right? That move to the upside swept everything through here, rejected. And we've done a pretty decent job over the last 4.5 hours or so of making our way back up towards that high. Lower time frame now starting to get this kind of more tighter consolidation after the response. So we basically had, burgers coming online here, messing everything up as usual, heading to the downside, and then very good response from the market since. And even locally within here, we've had this. And when I had SPX up before, again, you can see this candle here, where SPX basically came in to touch the 55.75s here and had an incredibly strong reaction back to the upside. And this is what was mirrored in BTC through this region on the 5-minute chart. So I still think we have enough juice to be able to try and challenge some of these levels above us. And then something like Sol is a very good example of a market which is basically in exactly the same position. I wrote this out on a tweet yesterday, and it's just another very similar market here in terms of structure and where we're looking at challenging as some of these points. And kind of the thought process laid out through here as well, and something which I was speaking about a lot in the Haven in a stream this week, is around the way that when the market starts to move counter trend, when we've been downtrending and we start to get those green candles coming in, one of the things that the participants tend to do, aka Twitter, tends to get very carried away with the price action that develops. And so suddenly what you start seeing are more and more aggressive targets. Now, what typically happens is, like, for example, let's just go back to here on Sol, because it's a good area for me to kind of discuss as we just go here. When the market starts moving, people start moving their targets higher and higher. 141 is an obvious level for Sol to try and run. Okay, just like BTC, we basically take out all of this through here, and this would be a really good squeeze on everything till the end of August. Would be a really nice area for us to move into, and that level is 141. So pushes into 141 would be nice. Now, when price starts moving, very often we can get carried away in terms of what we're expecting. So we start doing things like additional analysis, which basically then starts to contribute to the idea of maybe this can go higher, maybe this goes 150s, maybe this is the bottom, maybe this goes up to the 160s through here. Because we're paying counter trend, we need to be really, really careful in terms of management of expectations. Okay, so not becoming too aggressively bullish just because the market has shown some green for the first time in a while, or we have one of the more sustained kind of swings to the upside. So local target identification is way more important than sort of starting to change your expectations into higher and higher prices. And that's why this area here on Sol is really important. So we got this move on Sol, which actually was a 15% move from the low to this high. So we got a nice 15% counter trend move. and we took out all of the highs up until here, right? So again, 31st of August, really good movement to the upside. And that's where this comes in. We swept all of the highs from the end of August. Maybe that's everything that we have. And that's a really good way of viewing the price action in this area. So again, locally saying, okay, well, maybe this is all the energy that we've got. And then what we did is we got the price action basically then that started to reject this level and move back to the downside. Okay, so at that point, I was long from down here. I took off profit here, and we started to move back to the downside. Now, when we started to get this move and this reaction, then we can update the analysis. And we can say, okay, well, maybe now this is going to be the higher low through here at the 130s. And maybe we still have some energy in here. Maybe we still have some juice left to try and get up to this ultimate target zone that we have of 141, 143-ish. 4 hour supports it. RSI 50 reset in here as well in the correction. We've got a new invalidation for the position down here at 128, so we don't want the lows to be going now. I mean, if we want to be super aggressive, we could have the invalidation in here, right? But we don't want those lows to be taken. So we're updating this as we're going. And as it stands right now, it looks as though this is the higher low and that this now becomes our challenge region. So we're looking primarily towards 141 and 143. So again, just an illustration, Sol is in a market, Sol is in a position very similar to BTC, where we are aware of the local highs in the region. We're aware of the fact that the market as a whole is downtrending, and therefore we've got to be careful with not getting too carried away in our targets. We don't just suddenly say, right, it's 70K incoming for BTC. It's a breakout of that weekly. It's going to be 100K next. And we're just taking it level for level at the moment. The real momentum point for BTC is still 70K plus. That's still the easiest, most ridiculously simple trade you can imagine is just taking the 70K breakout on BTC. It is going to be the most simple thing that you can possibly do. It's going to feel the most disgusting position to take because it's going to feel awful buying 70K knowing that you had 6 months of being able to buy at 50K. But it's going to be the easiest one. Untested order block at 154. Yeah. Again, if we got enough strength to get there, then great. Right? But it's easier for right now to set targets in a more local area than it is to expect too much of a downtrending market. So we just play the levels as they come. Now, there's also some great markets in here that have some 3-day bull divergences now. Right? So some really, really good markets that have some 3-day bullish divergences that you can also looking at playing into. DYDX is one of them. Barrett's absolutely correct in doing so. I can't mention another. And Pith or Pyth, depending on your preference, is another. So there are some really nice 3-day bullish divergence markets as well. So there really is kind of a set through here of very, very strong markets. I say very strong markets. That's because I got distracted by seeing AAVE tickers called out. There are some markets that are in a position now to be able to try and take a more kind of swing-based trade on because of the way that they're set up on the 3-day. Now, RV is the opposite of that, and RV is a very strong market in the current conditions. Okay, so you have RV through here. Now, RV is very, very strong through this zone. It's very strong on the daily. It has a great RSI structure through here with a very clean hold of the 50 level on this region here. It's in fresh highs. It's an uptrending market structure on the daily. It's uptrending on the 3-day, and it's uptrending now on the weekly. It is an incredibly strong market, and it bucks the trend of the majority of coins in the watch list. It's such a good-looking chart. It gets even better when you get up to the monthly. It's actually like a scarily good chart because this is something that you could, you basically say on here, well, I think realistically we can challenge the 250s with a monthly structure that's breaking out of a base like this. And really what you've got on RV is you've got 2 things down here. You've got this monthly SR flip down here at 83, where we just traded for the best part of 18 months under 83. We flipped it and traded on top of 83 for the next 12 months, and now we're starting to expand away. So you could say, right, 250, you could even say maybe this goes higher than that. And that feels ridiculous in the current environment to be able to say or to be able to think RV is going to go to those sort of levels. The higher time frame from RV is very, very good through here. 4 hours in a very good place now, right? I'm not instructing you to do anything, but the 4 hours in a really good place. This is a really nice retest of this zone here around the 140s that RV struggled at. It's a really good pullback in terms of getting the RSI back down to this 50 level. It's a decent place. Yeah, and that's why it feels like strange to say, right? You say even in this environment, and yeah, like absolutely right. Yeah, now that's a very good example as well. So it reminds me of MKR was looking so good and then performed poorly. Absolutely. Right? MKR was a market that was in a very good position. Now, there may be an additional narrative in place for RV, but it's a great looking chart. Even if you want to just take it, again, level to level, not get too carried away with it. In this environment, it's probably the easiest thing to do anyway. So, you know, don't get too carried away, but say, well, RV is a strong market. It's one of the best looking markets. It's one of the markets that's shown the most strength. It's one of those classic examples of this should be pretty high on the watch list in terms of what you choose to long over other things. Level to level, matey, is making a return. Yeah, it's just 6 months too late, that's all. That's all. It should have just been brought back immediately 6 months ago. Yeah, so again, like regardless of the fundamental shit that goes on the markets, then, you know, it's your choice whether or not you agree or not in terms of the way that they're set up. Technical analysis wise, looks great. Fundamental wise, I don't give a fuck, to be honest, about any of the markets that are here from a fundamental perspective. There's zero fundamentals in crypto. I've always said that. There's absolutely zero fundamentals to be done on crypto. There's nothing here that has a primary use case. There's nothing here that has a global use case. There's no fundamentals at play in crypto. Listening to your stream and leveling in classic WoW is a newfound Zen mode. Nice. What are you leveling? What's the invalidation point of RV? It isn't worth it, I guess. Well, again, it depends on what you're entering. I'm not gonna like. Well, I'm going to spoon feed you because you're asking, but like, what's wrong with playing like this? And you're playing up here and potentially beyond. What's wrong with, like, if you want to get like super aggressive, what's wrong with this? Like, there's a ton of reason to play RV. Leveling the Hunter I started 20 years ago? Damn. You take a look at the Doge breakout you posted earlier. Yeah, of course. This shit is like I love Doge, and I was taking the piss in the Haven when I was posting about Doge and taking a setup on Doge and, you know, what that entails. But we're very aware that Doge is a significant underperformer. It's a piece of shit in that regard. Like, significant underperformer, and there are alts that come out and have replaced Doge for a long, long time. Not only that, but the original thesis about Doge being the king of all meme coins and capital rotating back to Doge as a result of other memes being heavily diluted, although has come to kind of fruition in terms of the actual amount of memes increasing incredibly rapidly, and even more rapidly than I envisaged in the original thread I sent, I don't know, feels like a year ago now. But the Doge chart here is actually set up really, really nicely. And I know everybody hates to hear it because they don't want to play Doge, or they've been burned too many times, or they listened to me and they thought the Doge would actually do something and it didn't. So I'm memeing with this trend line, right? I'm memeing with this downtrending level here. Really. Like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but it does give us some indication of when we should see momentum. That's like the one thing that this does. So it says, well, if we actually make a push here, we should see a pretty aggressive push. Whether or not it sticks it and actually does something is a different story altogether. But it does give us some sort of timeline for potential movement. And again, if I want to kind of really sell you the bullish side of Doge, I could say, well, look at the monthly. Very good monthly structure, fresh high in here, good low protection, got a lot of room on the low side protection, retesting the original breakout zone, good bounce from that, RSI 50 in a really nice position down here as well. Looks all good on the monthly. The other time frames, I would struggle to bull post to you as much through these regions here. This one's a little bit harder to do. Now, the 3-day, I could also give you some bullish spiel about how this looks, because even down here amongst these lows, and we've got 1 low, 2 low, 3 lows, okay? And these two are lower lows. And even from an RSI perspective, we're showing that there is a reduction in momentum, and the AO is also doing the same. So the AO has also got this clear divergence here, all the way down. And these are 2 lower lows that follow this original low. So we do have a pretty nice kind of position for confluence, through this region. And we'd be looking now to start to see some acceleration here. But it is Doge, and you may choose to have your meme bags elsewhere or to trade stuff elsewhere, and that's completely fine. But this does give a nice indication of when we should expect to see momentum. And again, if we're thinking about the market as this overall picture right now, and we're saying, well, look, we're expecting a squeeze maybe on BTC, we're expecting a squeeze therefore on Sol, and therefore on the rest of the markets, is it possible that Doge can make a move through this level and challenge the upside? Maybe. Is it one of those markets that's set up quite nicely with a range of technical confluence that's pretty easy to get trade setups? Yes, absolutely so. Yeah, we were promised Doge to $1. Yeah, and I said that was FUD. So... No, POPCAT's not the king of the memes at all. POPCAT's the king of attention. Right? It's not the king of memes. It's the king of attention. Now, this level here is the really important one for POPCAT. Breakthrough 65 on the daily, things look really, really good again. Right? 3-day through here, really good RSI position. And again, playing into that overall market structure and market thought process of we're anticipating upside. That's like the underlying theme of the stream today, is everything I'm discussing. The underlying thing that I'm saying is I'm still expecting upside. I'm still looking for the market to move high. Now, POPCAT's in a really great position here because, again, it supports that thought process on the higher time frames. Really good structure on the 3-day. Good structure here with the potential reclaim of 65, and it just needs to stick that level. Now, you might get chopped up through a region like this, just like you might have done here. You might do this, and then whatever. But if you want to trade POPCAT, you've got to be looking at being long when it's above 65. Higher time frame sets up very nicely. Very good bounce here as well on the 1 hour. Really good reaction to an RSI 50. Yeah, DXY is rolled over. And the metals are very, very strong today. The metals are super, super strong. Let's look at our rocket-producing equity cooker. Yeah, go on then. RKLB, let's get into that quickly. Just as the market's closing, we'll say that it makes perfect sense from the timing, but just a very, very good weekly, and something that is a little bit different to what we've been seeing on other weeklies. Aware that we've still got tomorrow to be playing this, but If we take a look at the two prior examples on RKLB of the challenge of this region here essentially breaking into the sevens, then we've seen very strong reactions, and we saw a very strong reaction here as well. So you've got three very strong reactions to trying to break through this $7 region. Basically, it hates it above $7. The only difference this time is that is an immediate death and reaction and a sub 560 with resistance. This is a rejection of the 650s and then a movement back into sub 550s. And this here is a perfect bounce with a, so far, clean breakout. Mother Rocket Dick is looking ready for ejaculation. Best TA I could have put on there, honestly. That's the tagline for it. It looks really, really good. And then what we've got then is that clean monthly breakout that's potentially on the cards, and whatever happens from here, great. And then the other one is CHWY. We'll just quickly cover CHWY because these are two of the stocks that I absolutely love right now. CHWY on the monthly, huge reclaim of this level here at 24. Sell off below, recovery above, and now starting to impulse away. Very, very nice weekly structure through here. So CHWY's another one. We don't need to go into more detail than that. RKLB, monster. Absolute monster. Netflix update. Maybe 8 weeks away from anything to do with the weekly divergence. I would suspect. How did you position for CHWY? Long. I just took common stock. Man, let's just like destroy the bears that are up here. Like, who the fuck is selling 58.4? Thoughts on Tesla? Fucking great. Tesla's unreal position. Baba. Yeah, nice, good looking. Looks as though it might get the breakout. Still trapped in a little bit of a range. Weekly resistance coming up at 87 as well, so needs to break clear of that. RSI structure in a very good position. Monthly, not so much. Maybe the classic crypto logic that we've been discussing. Right, maybe we can start thinking about maybe more aggressive targets here. Monthly's okay, but again, I think there's better stocks out there in terms of being a buyer of. Tesla's in a very good position. The Tesla weekly is so good, and the Tesla monthly is so good. I tweeted the other day to say, like, if 200 to 235 holds while the indexes are doing their correction, this is a huge buy. Weekly, really good hold of the former support level. Right, traded underneath here, big breakout, retest back into it, held really well, and now looks as though it wants to move away. Weekly, RSI 50, monthly, RSI getting back over the 50, and quarterly, right back down at the 50. Very good higher time frame setup here. I think Tesla looks great, honestly. I've seen people like not fudding Tesla, but saying they're like selling their bags and shit. I think good. Fine. I sold 245, never looked back. Main focus on crypto at the moment. Man, my main focus is on the metals, honestly. Like I said today about the silver maxi art coming back, but silver looks so fucking unreal. And some of the silver stocks look unreal as well. You take a look at silver here. All right, this weekly, like this just looks like an insane weekly consolidation, and we look as though we're trying to go for that breakout. Weekly RSI very nicely positioned as well. Monthly is all good, apart from the fact that we've been, it's been 4 or 5 months of choppy conditions here. Weekly is set up very nicely to try and give us that impulse and move the monthly clear. And then like silver stocks in general, really, really clean. Yeah, maybe the fact that I want to be, buying even more silver is definitely the crypto bottom. That's definitely a potential. I wouldn't rule that out at all. Can you chart ZRO? If you send a $10 tip, I'll do it. No, I'm kidding. Of course I will. Dime, listen. I was buying silver when Dime was capitulating. All right, I was leading the bullish charge on silver, and I had to take over from Dime because he lost faith completely. His faith was evaporating. CBS buying silver, I'm buying Solana and WIF. We are not the same. Yeah, I had to really support Dime and silver through a rough time. Oh, check cat. I don't really need to check cat. From a TA perspective, you don't need TA when it comes to cat. Because all you have to do is browse Twitter. There are a huge amount of people that are talking about cat. Now that's potentially now I view that as a positive. Now it will turn into a negative, but it's a positive for now. The fact that people are trying to drum up so much attention for cat is a positive thing. Basically what I'm saying is that you probably are best just getting long on it and riding whatever narrative wave comes with it and allow those people to communicate and to discuss cat openly. Whether or not they're shilling their own bags or not is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? Right? Shill your own shit. That's fine. As long as you're in the trade and price goes up and you sell either when they do or before they do, then great. But like, don't overthink it. Cat is very well discussed by some very large accounts that have openly said that they have bought pre-sale. The slightest speck of green on cat will send that chart insanely upwards. Go along for the journey. Just make sure you sell. Yeah, it's honestly, it's like, don't be pissed off people are shilling. Just fucking buy the shit they're shilling. Especially when you've got lots of large accounts doing it. It's not just like one dude who's, you know, taking a payment from a token to shill it to his audience and he's selling into it. If lots of different people are talking about it and saying, oh, I bought the pre-sale, you know, yada yada, then just fucking buy it and watch price go up. ZRO. Damn, look at that. What a monster trade. Christ. July? Feels like 2 years ago. All right. It looks fine. Relatively decent lower time frame. You want this to be the higher low through here. Little patch of resistance that we've got to get through around 370s. You get through this zone here, and it's probably a decent lower time frame retest point as well. So I think this is decent. Honestly, like, this is your sticky point here. Get through this. Hopefully continued upside with the higher low here. You can look at challenging the high. Really simple market structure stuff with a support resistance flip. Keep it simple. Here's your low. That's the high you want to challenge. If this is your higher low here, you aim for the fresh higher high in the creation of the uptrending clean structure through here. This is your SR point in terms of lower time frame. Even if you wanted to be super aggressive with this and try and take something, you take this down here. And no stop loss here, stop loss under the daily, wherever you wanted to do it, and then aim for the fresh high. If you want to get the RR tighter, then you're looking at this. Seems fine. Yeah, PopCat's a better one. For sure. All right. Warner Brothers. Holy shit, brother. Oh, he's found it. He's found it. Jesus Christ. I mean, it looks decent. I would tell you all about the divergence structures, and I think that looks fine. The quarterly's fucked. What the fuck is this? What the fuck launched here? What did they do here? 2020? 21? Just never recovered, huh? Post-COVID. That was it. Christ. Weekly looks good. Monthly looks good on the AO. I don't think it's bad to take a shot on this, honestly. Even down here into this low here. Like, that's another divergence leg. Honestly, not a bad shout to try and get some upside from it. I think you can probably aim for like the 950s as a starting point, and then hope it's a full trend reversal. Decent looking chart, honestly. Yeah, Warner Brothers is the new ALCX. Could be. Damn, what the fuck are you guys trading so many equities for? You got, like, Pinterest? Like, what's going on? I got this new list as well. Let me just do this. Do this. Let's get this updated. Wait, what the fuck is that? Not updated. That's not come across yet. What a shame. I got a new watch list which is full of just markets to short. Like literally zero markets. Markets that are heading to absolute zero. No, Cardano is not on the list. The list is comprised of largely video game companies. The space is a fucking mess. An absolute mess. Ubisoft's dead. I don't know how Sony aren't going to get absolutely massacred. Thank you, Barry. Take care. Thoughts on Blur? It looks okay. I wish there was like a better divergence structure. Again, just exactly the same as we've been talking about in terms of squeeze levels or areas that we think the market may trade into. You know, you got like, this is the ultimate target area that you'd have over here. And then you've got your highs here and your high here. So you've just got the same pictures we're talking about on other markets on the lower time frame, but on the higher time frame here. Take two. I don't know about take two. Like Sony and Ubisoft just dead. I don't know if anybody's looked at a Ubisoft chart recently, if ever. Like shit's cooked, man. Like these guys are just done. It's over. There's nothing that saves this. Assassin's Creed is going to be an absolute fuck up. There's nothing that saves this. EA is another one. I think EA is like... This here has to hold. You imagine the monthly closes back below here? And it's just swept everything through here. So many video game companies are just going to get smoked. Whole industry has gone to shit. Yeah, Coinbase price feed been glitchy all day. Yeah, they've had like the warnings up all day on TradingView. Yeah, Intel was there. I think I tweeted like the 20-year round trip. Yeah, I've still got Sol Spot. Yeah, and Sony announcing the PS5, like the PS5 Pro, like $800. Like, what's going on? And Sony's fucking new release. Holy shit. Honestly, in all my time as a gamer, this is by far the worst era of gaming that has ever been. Absolutely horrendous. Rushed products, poor products. Start going on like a boomer rant here, but like take me back to the fucking days where I'd walk into a retail store, I would buy a physical gaming product that was fucking perfect out of the box. It didn't require me to connect to the internet to download a day one patch of fucking 15 gig to fix everything. I would just walk into a store, buy a game, and that game was pure quality. That's it. It wasn't that difficult. Right? They're doing it in the fucking 2000s. Yeah, 150 gig. Yeah, like, man. Like a fucking N64 cartridge. Just put it in and the game fucking worked. Masterpieces. And this day and age is fucking awful. Absolutely trash. I've got no inclination to like play anything. Age of Mythology Remastered came out the other day, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll play Age of Mythology. Now, that would be a decent replay. How do you feel about Elden Ring? Yeah, I played it, and like I liked it. Maybe I like to have like an easier gaming experience. And although I love the fantasy theme, I think it was a little bit dark for me. I think it was like a little bit dark. Yeah, you're too old. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But now that would be the one that was that would like buck the trend of recent games, right? Okay, adjust brightness. Okay. Yeah, maybe too old. Maybe it's over. Fable era. Fable was unreal. Okay, Age of Mythology has been fun to come back to. Would recommend. Okay, nice. That's what I wanted to hear. Some positive shit on Age of Mythology. I'll take that. Roblox? No, yeah. And I know you're tweeting the ticker here. That's a market that is not dead by any stretch of the imagination. Now, we might all turn into Roblox maxis after looking at this. I mean, I don't know what they got cooking. But, yeah, don't worry, Sylvan. I know about this chart. He's 39? Damn. Yeah, so I mean, like, we're waiting for the breakout, right? We don't want to rush into this, but now I'm not 39. I'll clarify that for you right now. Look at the quarterly. Oh, Jesus. What are they announcing here? What's coming up? 40? What's going on here? Minimum 44? Holy shit. Holy shit. The day that I go on camera and you realize that I'm 21, absolutely ripped out of my mind, and basically a pro golfer, it's going to be crazy. Copium? No chance, honestly. When it, like, if the camera was on, you'd say, how is this guy so good looking and can trade like this? Closer to 50 with that Nintendo post. Now, I didn't live through that era. Now, I'll tell you that much. I didn't live through that era. I mean, you can start to frame my age, but it doesn't really matter. Pro overdosing on copium. Nostalging over N64 days, 30s for sure. Man, Devo played Pogs at school. I know what Pogs are, man. Why are you anonymous? That bit's like a little bit easier. So 99.9% of the people that I interact with on the internet are wonderful people, and I would have no problem with them knowing who I was and meeting them in real life. Like, would have no problem. There's a fraction, 0.01%, who are complete morons. And it's that tiny percentage that's a problem. And so, you know, I have a family. And really, it's a case of just protection on that side. As I said, the vast, vast majority of people have no problem with. But the anonymous side is done from a protection from the tiny, tiny minority who, for example, would have copied me on a trade and lost significant money and have harbored resentment ever since, or blame me for things that I've said during streams or whatever it might be. So really just the personal protection side of things. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's the meme with the guy riding the bike, right? That sticks the stick in the wheel and then blames CBS for the liquidation. So what's some British nostalgia for you? Man's trying to hone in on my age. Big. Yeah, 1 week. CT would validate his concerns. Yeah. Thoughts on the lack of narratives this cycle outside of ETF, AI, and RWA? We've had more narratives than any other cycle probably this time around. Like there've been more things independently that you could throw at. But yeah, I mean, the conditions just have slowed down. That's all from a crypto side of things. Market action just very, very slow. We just need something to kickstart it. We know what it's like. Things get quieter, things start to settle down, and then we get something that jolts the whole place into life. And suddenly, you know, we don't have the kind of the content that we have on Twitter right now, where we have people sharing, you know, fucking tier lists of fruit and everything else. We actually have, you know, content, and the space feels electric again. We get like a week of that, and then everything starts to die off. That's just where we are. But, you know, for now, we just need that jolt of life. We just need that little bit of energy input into the market. Any recommendations? Absolutely not. No financial advice for Netflix put for various strikes. No. Like, the only thing I would say on the Netflix side of things, if we're looking at a triple weekly divergence play out, we're looking at several months in the future at least. Roblox and Rocket Lab, that's all we're doing. Main versus BitBoy cage match would kickstart it. It's probably bearish, man. Any video about AO soon? Yeah. So I've been traveling all over the summer. So this week, this Wednesday, yesterday, holy shit. Yesterday was the first time that everything has now fully come to a conclusion. And it's, you know, time for me to get back on with the content creation and doing everything on that side. So yeah, AO video will definitely come out. The RSI one was a big hit, so yeah, nothing's happened in the foundation. Still all there. Thoughts on short 3x leveraged ETFs for shorting indexes or always futures options? Probably easier always on futures and options, to be honest with you. What do you think about Ethereum? What do you think about Ethereum? Nvidia being gigatopped. I don't think it's yet. No, it's not closed off, Goku. We're just about to launch something in conjunction with WO. So we're just waiting for the update, basically. So It's all there. I just don't shill it that harder because I've got like a number of things that I work with. You know, I've got a number of people I work with, and I've got obviously a number of things that I run. And I really try, although maybe it doesn't feel like it, but I really try not to just be shilling things all the time. And so the foundation, like we got a really good core of community in there. And then I tried not to then just super push it afterwards. Because like I've already got like the Haven, I've got Woo, I've got Tensor. Like I don't want to just constantly be talking about something instead of producing something. So again, from like an audience perspective, I was conscious of, you know, kind of basically just becoming this account that just has things to click and affiliate links and things to sign up to. So I just made sure that, you know, it wasn't full of that. That's all. So it's really just like a content management side. You know, I want to make sure that it's not like every other tweet is like sign up here, click this link, do this. You know, it's got to be a management of that. That's all. Yeah, your name is Cold-Blooded Chiller. Yeah, I still get loads of DMs about that as well, where they're like, "Hey, you must be great at shilling things. Can you do this?" All right, could you please check Mog if you're in Holland? Hit me up to play golf. All right, nice. Downtrending structure, weekly is not in a great position. Could maybe have like the POPCAT style effect. Trading through here is pretty decent. Relatively good divergences on the way down from the AO side of things as well. Might have a little bit of juice in the tank here. 4-hour breakout, very similar to BTC. Breaks through the level here, then you're probably going to be looking all right, but just a little bit ropey as it stands at the moment. Yeah, you see the punk port for 10 ETH. Yeah, that was a absolute masterstroke of a play. Unbelievable play. All roads lead to Mog. I don't know, man. Like Mog just it furthers my belief in like the attention span of this space. I think Mog's really cool, and like I love like the culture that comes with it. I think it's fucking great. My problem is the actual attention span of people in the space to actually give a shit about something for longer than like 6 months. Yeah, Mog attention is in the past. Yeah, and so you can basically go through this watch list and you can start grouping things into when they were relevant. And usually the price action on those charts follows pretty similarly. You know, like Doge being one of the oldest memes and the price action being pretty poor. Bonk being, you know, newer than Doge and therefore having this great upside. But again, the price action now being pretty poor. And then you get into like the newer wave of memes where you start looking at stuff like Whiff and the price action is now very poor. And then newer again, POPCAT, where maybe some attention still resides that we feel as though the job hasn't maybe been completed to the extent that we would like. Decent position. But Mog kind of like feels like it falls into that category pre-POPCAT. That means it's like the last round of memes that people cared about. And so therefore, we're starting to get this price action. Like you can kind of just group things in terms of, you know, chronologically and when they came out, and then look at the charts and see the resulting price action. It's never usually favorable. The older the meme is, the worse the price action has tended to be. And that is inherently the problem with the meme coin space in general. Because there's always new shit. There's always new communities. There's always new personas to adopt. And that's kind of the evolution of the way that memes work. So it's great for 3 months, and then it starts to fade out, and then people start going into other things, other communities, other personas, other PFPs, whatever it might be. It's why I think it's difficult that, you know, I know that Murad is very keen on, you know, kind of the meme coin super cycle and, you know, meme coins being the significant outperformers of the market. I think typically speaking, you know, they are in terms of the percentages that they gain. But I think it's very difficult to nail down a list of actual longevity in that space. I think it's all well and good if you want to play memes. I think, yeah, play memes. You know, keep your ear to the ground, understand what's relevant, what's not, and then play accordingly. I think for me as well, like trading meme coins is still one of the most fun experiences that I have, because it's a lot of stuff that I do independently because of the liquidity concerns. So actually for me, it feels like one of the more entertaining areas to still be trading and operating in. Do you think there's an exception, for example, the top 10 memes? But the top 10 memes are going to change all the time, man. They're going to change all the time. They're going to swap over. They're going to be different. There's going to be a new one moving in. Now, I know that's slightly, you know, relevant to where we are in terms of overall crypto too. But that list is a little bit more fixed in terms of structure. I would say another thing as well is that I've spoken before about the way that we've had these big market corrections, and what big market corrections tend to do is make you look at your portfolio again and say, like, why am I invested in 30 different altcoins? You know, maybe I got a bit carried away in my portfolio. I think, again, this correction has probably diverted a lot of attention back to BTC. I think a lot of people look at the BTC chart and think, fuck, maybe I should just buy more BTC and leave other things as they are. It just feels as though BTC has become kind of rightfully, again, the main thought process. It's held up relatively well. Kind of draws a lot of attention back to itself. All right, let's wrap up there. So have a wonderful rest of the week. Have a great weekend. And like I said, from my perspective, to summarize, I think that everything does trade higher. I would like to think so. I'd like to think we get this injection of optimism and a little bit of fun for the next few days or so. I think charts display that we're actually in a really good setup on a lot of markets as well. So we actually technically have the opportunity to do that. It's not just kind of like blind bullish copium about where we are. I think there's a good chance that we can actually push into some of these attack zones on the upside. And if we do that, we should have a really good few days of price action. Should be an opportunity where you can like take advantage of things and actually actually kind of, do something a little bit more productive on the trading front. It's just about moving into position and then riding it higher to some of these squeeze points. Overall, I still feel as though it's just going to be a squeeze. Right? That situation can change depending on how much strength that we show and what the market looks like, and if we reclaim any significant levels, we move higher than we anticipate. But for right now, let's just get some green going. Let's just try and squeeze that little bit more through here. And if these levels fail, and again, we've got very good short setups through here. But for right now, I think let's keep our fingers crossed for a little bit of green over the next 4 days or 3 days over the weekend. And everybody enjoy. Good luck out there. Hope it goes well, and I'll be back early next week, and we'll catch up with all of the price action and probably staring at a market where I've been outrageously incorrect, and we're trading at like 52K on BTC. But until